Hi, I'm Antoine, and I hope you had a great day today. I'm going to make an overview of today, of this second day of Odoo Experience 2020. First of all, I'd like to thank you for being there, for attending it, for participating, for asking questions, and for making this Experience 2020 what it has been, a great event. So thank you for this. It won't be possible for me to summarize everything. There were so many talks and workshops. So instead, I will focus on a few themes that seem to me very important in the sort of the core messages that were brought to us through these workshops and talks. I did that yesterday, and some of the themes that I'm going to be mentioning today are the same as yesterday, but I will give more substance to them today. So let's start with the first one, and that's the move of Odoo towards big corporations. Okay, so let's avoid all possible misunderstanding here. It's not that Odoo is moving away from SMEs. So SMEs remain a key focus for Odoo, but in addition to it, beyond this core market, Odoo is now expanding towards big corporations and large organizations. We had presentations on this theme yesterday. Today I'll pick up one example, and that's a brilliant presentation by Adrian, who explained to us why Odoo 14 will disrupt the RP MMC market. By the way, MMC means mid-market corporate. Okay, so moving up into the scale of large organizations. And okay, so basically the talk of Adrian was to explain why Odoo and Odoo 14 in particular are going to make a killing in this market. And there are 4 reasons to it. 4 reasons that make Odoo particularly powerful and strong, in this market. The first is full integration. Full integration means that it's just not technical. Obviously, that's technical. But beyond this, it's also financial integration. You only get one invoice. Okay? It's access and logins integration. One login for accessing all the apps. And also in terms of training. You don't have to get specific training for different environments. You get one Odoo training and then you know the environment and you get to navigate the apps. The second thing is that you have constant new features. So there's a constant flow of innovation. And Adrian was speaking specifically about spreadsheets and workflows, and apparently they are really changing the game for large organizations. Third point, yeah, I also get it mixed, showing my fingers. Anyway, third point, here we are. We are the technology, okay? So whatever is trendy and edgy in terms of technology, it is within Odoo. Whether you talk about business intelligence, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, OCR, and many more things, it's right there, incorporated into the tools, into the apps. Last but not least, and it's the agile methodology and agile themes, and that's another important thing that makes it that allows this development and this innovation. Without agility, without being agile, you wouldn't have that constant flow of innovation. So this methodology is very important. Now, when you combine it all together, you have a very powerful combination. And that makes the strength of Odoo, and in particular of the new release, Odoo 14. Now, you may not like this very macho representation of the strength of Odoo, so I've prepared another one for you. You may like this one better, okay? It's all about, but if you think about it, whether you like the masculine or the feminine version, it comes down to the same key principles: full integration, constant innovation, state-of-the-art technology, and agile methodology. Good. Okay. Whatever you like, the message is the same. RP MMC market, here we come. And this is Odoo coming in. Anyway, let's continue with the second theme of today, which is the value mindset. And it's the idea that at Odoo, people are obsessed about creating value, are obsessing about that, creating value for customers. In this respect, we had a very interesting presentation today by Antoine on how to sell the quick start methodology, a recipe for success. Okay? Now, except that, and that's the first thing Antoine told about it, it's not a recipe. So, okay? So what is it? Well, it's a mindset. It's a mindset that focuses primarily on project success, ensuring success of the project. Now, on this point, it might be interesting to know that sometimes it requires discussions with your client, with the customer. Okay? Sometimes the customer is delaying things, or they want to changes, they want things, they want this, and sometimes to make sure that the project is delivering value and to ensure project success, you need some strong explanations with your partner. That was an important point of Antoine's presentation. The mindset is all about simplifying things, making it as simple as possible. So getting rid of useless people, just people who don't add value to the process. Getting rid of useless meetings, unprepared, unproductive meetings. Don't waste your time there. This is going to make your project unprofitable if you waste your time in there. And don't waste time on custom developments that are not necessary. Simplify it. And remember, it's all about delivering on time and on budget. This is what value is all about. Okay? Third theme. The third theme that we've been hearing today is that Odoo, it's a phenomenon. It's growing, it's improving, it's increasing. Okay? It's getting big, it's getting huge. Okay? Well, for example, it's getting big in the US with the new office on the East Coast. And we had Nick and Julien talking about it. And well, actually, now they have not only chosen the best spot to open an office in Buffalo, but they have a project of expanding, of growing, and the ambition for the future is to grow from there. So ambitious goals that have been setting. Okay, too quickly. Okay, anyway, the thing is, the challenge was to open this office during the COVID pandemic. And how do you open an office during a pandemic? That's complicated, but they did it. So the growth and the development could happen even in the midst of the pandemic. Of course, there were challenges. Hiring people, for example. How do you hire people? Or how do you make interviews? How do you assess qualities? Whatever the qualities you may want to have. You may want people to be eager, intelligent, dynamic, or even funny. Okay, so how do you do this? And now maybe in addition to this challenge, you have another one. You can order equipment, furniture, etc., for the office, but because supply chains are so disrupted because of the crisis, you need to be patient. Okay, that's another lesson learned from the situation and from opening an office during the COVID crisis. Third learning point and lessons is that you need to do a lot to engage your employees and your team within this period of time, and you need to do a lot of team spirit and teamwork and whatever team building activities, but it all has to happen online, obviously. But the key thing is that when you look at this example, it shows the growth of the Odoo phenomenon. Now this slide is another example of this growth. On this slide you see the world population. And then, during the keynote presentation today, Fabien was explaining to us how this is growing, how the number of jobs at Odoo is increasing over time. Now, 2020, today, already a lot of people, if you count for all the people at Odoo and the partners and the community and the users, that makes a lot of people. But expectations are much higher for the next 5 years and even beyond. We might reach a point where the number of jobs at Odoo would exceed the world population. Well, anyway, that shows the growth and the importance of the phenomenon, and this is why it's so big and so huge. Interestingly, some people seem to have not noticed. Okay, in particular, people in sort of the big traditional players in the big, large company RP market. In particular, Paul Larry, the CEO of Oracle. And we, during his keynote presentation, Fabien shared a video of Larry claiming we are the biggest, we are the number one, we are the only one, etc. But then, Fabien was saying, unfortunately for Larry, good news for Odoo, it's not actually accurate. And when you see the figures, the real figures, it shows a completely different picture. That's a little bit the problem. The big traditional players, they still believe they are the masters of the seas. And when you look above water, this is how it looks like. But beyond water, what's happening is that Odoo is everywhere. Now, if you don't like those militaristic metaphors, here's another one. We could say, okay, we have a forest, you have big trees, but beneath those big trees, you have young trees, energetic young trees growing and populating the forest, and that's Odoo. A good question is, why is it so? Why is it that those big players are not recognizing the situation? Okay? Well, it has to do probably with the strategy of Odoo. And that was a brilliant moment of the day during the keynote presentation by Fabien. The explanation of the core strategy of Odoo. And it can be represented by these very simple visuals. And you can see this here on the bottom. You see on the bottom, you see the branding, the industries, features, technical quality, pricing, users experience. These are all criteria that companies can choose to differentiate themselves. Okay? And basically, these are also buying criteria for clients. When clients make decisions to buy an RP, they probably look into these features. So what are most companies doing? The big ones we mentioned earlier. That's the blue line. They invest a lot in branding. Also, they try to do industry-specific software. One for pharmaceuticals, engineering, whatever. So each industry has its own software. And then, in features, they cut some corners. Technical quality is so-so. Pricing is completely crazy. It's very expensive. And user experience is terrible. Okay? Odoo has chosen another path, completely different. Low investment in branding. No industry-specific solutions. So the strategy of Odoo is to do the best app in accounting, the best app in CRM, but not to create industry-specific software. When it comes to features, Odoo is second to no one. Same thing for technical quality. Pricing is just amazing. The price is so low compared to the competition. And user experience is really great as well. Although, as you can see on this picture, there's a small margin for progress there. Okay? But anyway, you can see on this picture why so much so the focus, the massive investment is all about reducing price, improving client experience and customers' experience, not on branding. And this is probably the reason why some of the big players have not yet taken notice of what's happening. So, but smart buyers who focus, sophisticated buyers, for those people for whom, who focus on the right thing, they probably make the right decision, and they will continue to do so because for them, pricing and users' experience are key criteria. We're nearly done. Okay. But theme 4, constant innovation. Let me say something about this. It's amazing to see the constant flow of innovation at Odoo. I was surprised to see this. And this is basically why we had so many talks, so many workshops, explaining new features, explaining how it works, etc., etc. So, but what's amazing about innovation is not just innovation, but to which it applies. It's not only the products that are being innovative. It's also the mindset. It's all this mindset about the community and That's about the culture that is constantly innovating and that is very, very, very new on the market. It's the model, the services, the branding, and the maintenance. Okay, on maintenance, as mentioned by Fabien this morning during the keynote presentation, there's an understanding that some progress is really necessary, but there's a new maintenance agreement on track and things should improve, are already improving. Constant innovation. And also when you think about innovation, it's not innovation for the sake of innovation, it's innovation for people. It's all about making the product more powerful, easier to use, and faster to use. It's people-centric. And the best example of this is probably Odoo 14, which according to its creators, will be the best release ever. Okay, time to move to the fifth theme, which is the Odoo Magic Formula. And this is the fifth and last theme, by the way. And I will close my presentation with this one. I presented yesterday, so for some of you, it may not be a surprise because you have seen this before, the magic formula. Albert Einstein could have found it. Odoo equals PC squared, where P is the product, great product, obviously, but then you have this culture and the community. And when you put it all together, it creates the Odoo magic. And therefore, the last words I would like to express as we are closing this summary of the second day and of the whole Odoo experience is a big thank you to all the partners and to all the communities that involves employees, users, partners, because the whole Odoo concept is only possible thanks to all of you. So thank you and see you next year.